In the previous movie, we began a review of the planning process group, and we got through the first 5 processes. We'll continue with this movie and cover the remaining processes that make up the planning process group. We left off with defined activities, so we'll pick up with sequence activities. In sequence activities, we take the activity list and we identify and document the dependencies among them in order to place them in the right sequence. From there, the Estimate Activity Resources process determines the type and number of resources needed to complete the scheduled activities. Estimate Activity Durations then estimates the number of work periods needed to complete the scheduled activities. And finally, as part of planning within the schedule-related processes, we have Develop Schedule. This is where we create the project schedule. There's a lot to this process, which you'll see when we get to it in the final part of this course series. Estimate costs involves estimating the cost of resources needed to complete the work. How much monetary resources are needed to complete the activities? From there, we can move to develop the budget, and that's through the Determine Budget process. This is where the estimated costs of the activities are aggregated together to establish a cost baseline. Moving on to our quality-related process within the planning process group, we have Plan Quality. Plan Quality is responsible for identifying and determining how to satisfy the quality standards and documenting how compliance will be shown. Next, we have Develop Human Resource Plan. Here, we're identifying and documenting the project roles, responsibilities, and reporting relationships, and creating the staffing plan. Under Plan Communications, the information and communication needs of the stakeholders are determined and an approach is defined. Plan Risk Management is where the risk management plan is created, which will decide how to approach, plan, and execute the risk management activities. The Identify Risk process then generates the list of known risks and also determines the effects that they may have on the project. The characteristics of the risks are also documented. Perform Qualitative Risk Analysis is where the probability and impact of risks are assessed and combined, which will be used to prioritize the risks so that more efficient analysis and action can be taken. Perform Quantitative Risk Analysis will then numerically analyze the effects of the identified risks on the overall project objectives. Plan Risk Responses then develops options and actions to enhance the opportunities, which are the positive risks, and reduce the threats, which are the negative risks. Literally here, a risk response plan is developed. And finally, Plan Procurements is the final process that falls within the planning process group. There's a lot that goes on in a single process, including making purchase decisions, deciding on the approach, and identifying potential sellers, which are the vendors. As you can see, a project requires a lot of planning effort and time. Think about how much planning goes into your current projects, and if you can spot any gaps. Would these missing steps have made a difference? Keeping the focus on why we're covering these processes in relation to the PMI SP exam, it is to ensure that you have the necessary foundation and understanding needed about project management in terms of the standards laid out by the PMBOK guide. This will help you better understand where scheduling comes in and how it's connected to all the other processes that are occurring. Planning is especially important since 5 of 6 time management processes fall in this process group. At this point, enough has been said about the overall process group. That brings this movie and process group to a close. We'll move on to executing in the movie that follows.